Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we are diving into something really cool. It's a recipe that takes a classic American tradition, the seafood boil, and just completely flips it on its head. We're talking a wild new twist, using ingredients from both the land and the sea. So, that's the big question, isn't it? How on earth do you capture the whole vibe of a seafood boil? That big, messy, communal, super flavorful experience, but without any actual seafood. No shrimp, no crab, nothing. It sounds kind of impossible, right? But trust me, the solution here is just so clever. And that's really the secret sauce right here. The recipe doesn't just try to replace the seafood. No, it builds a totally new experience from the ground up. It's all about layering these amazing, unique textures from things like algae and mushrooms, and then soaking everything in a broth that's, well, it's going to feel familiar, but at the same time, it's something completely new and exciting. All right, section 1, the plant-based catch. We're going to talk about recreating the ocean's texture. So let's meet the absolute stars of the show, the ingredients that are going to stand in for that traditional catch. Honestly, this is where the real magic happens, using some pretty incredible plants and fungi. So the first part of our plant-based haul comes straight from the ocean itself, algae. And we're not just talking about flavor here. These are absolutely crucial for getting those authentic seaside textures we're looking for. Okay, let's break these down. First step, you've got kombu, which is basically a dried kelp. This stuff is the savory backbone of the whole dish. It provides this deep umami flavor. Then you've got wakame. When you rehydrate it, it turns into these beautiful, silky, tender leaves. But the real showstopper, the one that's going to blow your mind, is the sea grapes, or umiburo. They give you this amazing little pop in your mouth, kind of like a natural caviar. It's incredible. Okay, so we've got that taste of the sea from the algae. Now, what about the meat? That substantial, satisfying chew you get in a classic boil. Well, for that, we're turning to the amazing world of fungi. And this part is just genius. You take king oyster mushrooms, the ones with those thick, firm stems, and you slice them into these chunky rounds that look and feel just like sea scallops. Then, for the crab meat, you grab some lion's mane or even just regular oyster mushrooms and tear them up into these rustic chunks. And once they cook in that broth, the texture is shockingly similar to tender crab. And hey, here's a little pro tip for you. When you get those king oyster mushroom rounds, you score them crosswise. It's not just to make them look more like scallops. The real reason is that it creates all these little nooks and crannies so they act like sponges and just soak up way more of that incredible, flavorful broth. Smart, right? Of course, it's not a boil without a whole bunch of veggies, right? And this recipe has a really smart mix that adds crunch, beautiful color, and real substance to the dish. So what are we talking about? Well, there's lotus root, which gives you this amazing crunch, and it looks so cool. Then there's samphire, it's also called sea asparagus, and it adds this perfect natural salty crunch. You've got baby bok choy for some crisp, tender greens. And for that essential starchy element, instead of the usual potatoes, we're using taro or even purple sweet potato. Awesome. Okay, moving on to the Old Bay miso broth. This is the heart of the flavor. Let's talk about the broth. Because honestly, if the algae and mushrooms are the stars of the show, the broth is the entire universe they live in. It's what brings every single thing together, and it is just a work of pure genius. And this is where that incredible fusion comes in. On one side, you have Old Bay seasoning. That's the American classic, right? It's spicy, it's bold, it basically screams seafood boil. But then you bring in white miso paste from Japanese cooking, which adds this incredibly deep, savory, umami flavor. You put those two together, wow, it creates something totally unique and special. And it doesn't even stop there. The foundation is 8 cups of vegetable stock, and then you add a whole head of smashed garlic, not a clove, a whole head, plus sliced ginger, the juice and rinds from 2 lemons for that zesty brightness, a half cup of vegan butter for richness, and a little smoked paprika for some smoky depth. Come on, this broth is not messing around. All right, section 3, putting it all together. This is the performance in the pot. We've got our cast of characters, we've got our incredible broth. Now it's time for the main event. And the cooking here is all about timing and layering. You have to add things in the right order to make sure every single ingredient comes out with the perfect texture. So first things first, you let that base broth simmer for about 15 minutes. You really want all those flavors from the garlic, ginger, and spices to get to know each other. Next, in go the tougher veggies. So the taro and the lotus root, they'll need a good 10 to 12 minutes to start getting tender. Then you add the mushrooms and the kombu sheets. They'll simmer for another 5 to 7 minutes, and that's when they'll really start absorbing all that brothy goodness. Now, the next part happens fast, so you gotta be ready. You'll stir in the dissolved miso paste and that vegan butter, which makes the broth incredibly rich and creamy. Right after that, you add your delicate stuff, the bamboo, the bok choy, the wakame, and the samphire. These need like 2 or 3 minutes tops. You just want to cook them until they're bright and tender. Any longer and you'll lose that perfect crispness. Then, kill the heat. Okay, now listen up, because this is probably the most important rule of the whole recipe. Are you listening? Critical warning. Do not, under any circumstances, cook the sea grapes. I'm going to say it again. Do not put them in the hot pot. They are super sensitive to heat. If you cook them, that amazing signature pop texture, gone. Instantly ruined. They are a fresh garnish and a garnish only. Got it? Okay, final section. The finale, serving and dipping. The cooking is done, and now for the absolute best part, serving up this masterpiece. Because this isn't just about eating, it's about creating a stunning communal feast that's a total event. So you're gonna serve this low country style. What does that mean? It means forget about fancy plates. You literally just line your table with newspaper or grab the biggest platter you own and you pile everything from the pot right in the middle. It's big, it's dramatic, it's a little messy, and it's just so much fun. It just begs everyone to gather around and dig in. And this is where our uncooked sea grapes come in. You just generously garnish that big steaming pile of food with them. That little bit of warmth from the food makes their flavor pop. Then just give it one last dusting of Old Bay for good measure. And you're done. It's ready. But wait, a boil isn't a boil without some killer dipping sauces, right? So we've got 2 delicious options. First, a classic lemon garlic butter. You can't go wrong with that. And second, a spicy miso mayo, which is awesome because it ties right back into that fusion theme of the broth. It's creamy, it's spicy, it's perfect. The classic boil, reimagined. I mean, that really just says it all, doesn't it? It takes the soul of a classic American boil, all the fun, the community, the big flavors, and just completely reinvents it. It's something that feels familiar and totally new all at the same time. You know, it really gets you thinking, doesn't it? If a seafood boil can be reinvented this creatively, what other classic dishes out there are just waiting for a cool fusion of land and sea? It's a pretty delicious question to think about. Anyway, thanks so much for joining me for this one.